Hi, it's Jan Beta, and today I have an Atari 65XE in the lab. And this got donated by Bernardo, also known as the Byte ANTIC on YouTube. You can check out his channel. I'm going to link it in the corner here, and also I'm going to link it in the video description. And Bernardo also sent me this bag, which contains a kit to build an adapter from a 65C02 processor, which is a modern take on the 6502 processor that is still being manufactured today, so it's way easier to get than the original processors. And they are much more reliable and stable, of course, because of the more modern manufacturing that is possible today. And yeah, this particular adapter adapts the 65C02 to the SALLY variant of the 6502 that is used in the Atari 8-bit line of home computers. So what I'm going to do today is to have a look at this and see if everything works, and then I'm going to build this kit and put it through some testing to see if this is fully compatible. So as you can see, this machine works, and there are some intermittent contacts and stuff on the keyboard, but we're going to take a look at that in another video. This is mostly going to be about the processor replacement, and I'm going to build this board. I'm going to open this up and have a look and see if it works at all. So yeah, let's do that. So first thing is to unplug everything and open up the machine. This case design is modeled after the Atari ST line that was available at the same time. So yeah, the rubber feet are a bit degraded. This is not a restoration video. I'm going to do a full restoration of this in another video sometime soon. So I suppose this should now lift off. Yes, it does. Whoa, and this is rusted. This probably got some liquid damage at some point, or maybe, I don't know. Yeah, this definitely looks, look, the shielding underneath the keyboard seems to not have rusted at all, but this part that was exposed. Maybe somebody poured some liquid in there, or it got into some rain or something, I don't know. Yeah, the keyboard ribbon cable is just stuck in here. Can remove that, and we can remove the whole keyboard. I guess we are going to take the whole circuit board out of this. And I think the shield should come off with only bending some tabs. There we go. So yeah, that's the circuit board, and as you can see, we have a very clear line here where the main RF shield was covering this little RF modulator can, and the rest of it is rusted. I don't know what happened to this. Maybe it was rain, I don't know. But fortunately the rest of the circuit board looks in very nice condition actually. One of the nice things about the 65XE is that they used the same circuit board they used in the 130XE. This has 64 kilobytes of RAM. The 130 has double the amount of RAM, and as you can see here, there are footprints for more memory chips, and another, I think a multiplexer chip goes here. You can basically upgrade this. If you can solder, you can upgrade this to a 130XE effectively. So that's pretty neat. I'm going to do that eventually too. This chip here, so this chip here that I just removed the layer of dust from is our SALLY chip. So that's the 6502 processor derivative. This one was made by Rockwell, judging by the logo, if I interpret that correctly. They were like licensees from MOS and made some of the MOS chips. The 6502 was manufactured mainly by MOS, who then became a part of Commodore at some point, in case you didn't know. So Commodore was able to produce these for their own machines for a much lower price, and they probably sold them to Atari at a higher price. But this was made by Rockwell, so probably Atari did that for a reason. So I'm going to take the whole circuit board out and yeah, I think remove some of the dust with some compressed air and desolder the processor to put in a socket to be able to try our replacement. Okay. And the bottom shield should just come off at this point, I guess. Wow, and there's no insulating layer or anything. Okay. Most of the chips, it seems, are from 85. Our processor is from 87 though. This machine was first released in 85, so that would make sense. But this particular one seems to be from 87. Doesn't seem like the processor has been replaced. So, yeah. The date codes are all over the place, so probably they used a lot of parts they had in stock for some reason and just threw it all in there. Most of these parts don't go bad, just sitting on a shelf, so why not? Yeah, it seems the board itself was made in 86, 37th week, if I'm not mistaken. This seems to be a date code. Okay, I fired up the desoldering station and I'm just going to remove this chip. Adding some flux because it helps with desoldering, and I really want to desolder this in one piece. So I'm now going to use hot air to heat up the pins some more to hopefully get it out in one piece. There we go. And it seems we didn't do any damage to the circuit board or to the chip, which is great, of course. Let's put in a socket. And Bernardo provided a nice turn pin precision socket that we are going to put in here. And there we go, we got a nice socket in there. Let's build the actual adapter board and test it. So here's the kit that Bernardo provided. Yeah, we got 2 circuit boards. I'm only going to build one today. A lot of sockets for the ICs. The ICs being the processor, 65C02, and some logic, some small components, resistors and capacitors. All the chips are going to be socketed, which is a nice touch. And yeah, other than that, this should be pretty straightforward. Let me put this together. By the way, all the files and the bill of materials for this are available on Bernardo's GitHub that I'm going to link in the video description. So in case you want to make your own, you can just do that. The parts are all standard parts that are readily available from various sources, I guess. And in case you want your own circuit boards made from the Gerber files provided on the GitHub page, I recommend the sponsor for this video, which of course is PCBWay, who are my favorite PCB prototype manufacturer, and you can also produce larger scale projects with them. They are very friendly people, offer excellent service, and the PCB quality is excellent too. So check them out, the link is in the description. So I just realized I made a mistake, because I would have to solder these pin headers first, because they are soldered from this side. And yeah, I completely missed that, so I think I'm going to try to do it anyway. So I'm going to use the other provided circuit board as a template to put my pin headers in there, and then put the other one on top, and hopefully be able to solder these in a straight way. Yeah, it kind of, sort of works. It's more difficult than to do it another way, but it's gonna be fine, I guess. Okay, that worked reasonably well, actually. Fortunately. So yeah, we are probably going to try this in the Atari after we put the chips in here. So that's our fully populated little adapter board. To fit it inside an XE series Atari, you actually need another socket on top of the socket we put into the main board to make it physically fit, because it has to kind of hang over the connectors a bit. For the XL series Ataris, you don't want these chips to be socketed, because otherwise the case can't be closed, because they are reaching out too high. But this is like for experimental purposes, so yeah, we're going to be fine. Okay, putting a socket on top of the already existing socket. Putting the adapter board. Should hang over this side. Wow, okay. Well, that doesn't work. My little pins here, or should I say my large pins, don't fit the sockets. Yeah, so unfortunately the pins on these are too large, and I'm going to work around that by using these very cheap pin headers instead of a socket. That are a bit longer even, so yeah, that should probably be fine. At least they fit! And they raised this up enough. So in theory this should now just turn on. Let's see. It gives me a PAL signal, but nothing else. Okay, I reseated the whole thing and the chips on there, and now it actually works. And it gives me the ready prompt, so that doesn't say much, but yeah, it seems to do something at least, which is nice. So I've temporarily hooked up the keyboard again, and these machines have a built-in diagnostics when you hold Option while powering them on, which is pretty handy. There we go. And we can do memory tests, audiovisual tests, keyboard tests. I'm just going to do a memory test, because that should give me a feedback on some of the timings and such. And we get some flickery stuff there. I don't know if that's supposed to happen. Probably not. This machine needs new capacitors and things like that, so yeah. Probably not the best test vehicle for a board like that. Okay, something's very flaky here. I think I'm going to have to rebuild the board to have a proper representation when this makes good contact. I'm just going to make a new circuit board with some proper pin headers that actually fit the turn pin sockets. Yeah. I have them in a turn pin socket now that I'm going to use to position them also, so that should be fine. Let's do this! Yay! I made another one. I'm going to put the chips in this one and I'm going to put it in the machine actually. So I got my newly made adapter board in there now with using some of my parts from my parts bin, and it definitely sits better in there, so hopefully it works better. Let's see. Okay, we got the flicker again. Actually going to have to try this on another machine or with the original processor. Okay, that's flaky. Unfortunately, things don't quite work as intended with the adapter and with the replacement. I now have the original SALLY chip back in there, and yeah, it just works a lot better with that. And we don't have the flickery line, which was kind of suspicious from the start during the RAM test. That was the first sign for this not being fully compatible. Yeah. I also started some games, and with the original SALLY everything just works as expected. With the adapter, most things don't work at all. Some things do work, but they are flaky or have flickery graphics or something like that. It's unstable and it's not working very well with the adapter. And the reason for that, I think, is that these newer versions of the XL, XE Atari 8-bits have the Freddy chip, which is a memory controller chip. And I read on some forums that some older incarnations of these are basically around from starting in the 80s even, because people put 6502 processors, regular 6502s, in adapter boards to replace the SALLY chips, because the SALLY chips were always rarer than the regular 6502s. And they had the problem that the Freddy chip wasn't compatible with the adapter boards, and led to some flaky behavior for stuff, and especially stuff that concerned communicating with the ANTIC chip, which is the graphics chip, so some graphics didn't work, sprites were flaky, and I think that's what we get here. Bernardo tested this extensively in an Atari 800 XL, which doesn't have the Freddy chip, the memory controller chip. Some later versions of the 800 XL also have that, so you're probably going to run into the same issues with that. This one has it, so it seems the adapter board doesn't work correctly in this machine. With the original chip in there, everything works as expected, so it's not the machine itself, it is definitely our adapter board here. Let me just show you some of the glitches I get with this and try out stuff. I now have the adapter board in there again, and actually most things don't really work. I can show you, I wanted to start Rescue on Fractalus. Yeah, and it basically starts loading it and then just crashes. I tried with the original chip and everything works as expected. With this one, basically nothing works. So let me show you. I was able to start Pitfall, but it's not much that works actually. There we go, there's Pitfall. Started Pitfall. I managed to start Pitfall, but yeah. This does work, but as you can see, the graphics are kind of flickering. That's basically how everything looks. This supposedly is Bangladesh. So yeah, this doesn't work correctly. And I think it does work correctly with the XL series machines. So now with the original SALLY in it, it just works, no problems at all, I think. Yeah, there we go. And it doesn't flicker. I am going to try this in the 800 XL just to make sure that this is actually an issue with the XE series machines and not an issue with my particular adapter board. I have an 800 XL, as you've probably seen in some previous videos where I restored it. and messed up the retrobrighting job. Okay, here's my Atari 800 XL, and as you can see, it does work fine. Okay, let's open this machine up and put the adapter board in there and see if that works in here at least. If I remember correctly, all the chips are socketed in this machine, so it's not going to be a matter of desoldering everything. I hope. I hope I remember correctly. Yeah, and we're going to have to take the whole circuit board out to get the shield off, which I put back in there. There we go. The shield is screwed through the circuit board. Yeah, this just seems to work, no problems whatsoever with the old style XL machines. So, yeah. It's a matter of the Freddy chip or not the Freddy chip, I think. The adapter board works fine and the Atari works fine. But the adapter board only works in the old school XL machines. Yeah, this doesn't give me any issues at all. It seems to work with everything I throw at it, just as advertised, which is nice. So it is definitely a good replacement for these older style Ataris. Yeah, the results I got are a bit strange. Maybe they're just a matter of the flakiness of my 65XE, this particular one, because Bernardo tested this in a 130XE, which is essentially the same machine but with more RAM and some extra logic chips. So yeah, it definitely works in some XE machines, but for me it didn't work in this particular 65XE. It worked no problems whatsoever in my 800XL though, so that's a good replacement at least for those. Yeah, I think that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. It was only a partial success, but yeah, that's how things work here. And thanks to Bernardo again for sending both the Atari and the adapter chip and for designing the circuit board for the adapter. Thanks to all my supporters on Patreon and on the channel memberships page, and also to everybody who donated things or money. Stay safe. Hope to see you again on this channel. I'm Jan Beta. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.